Hello and welcome back to week 2 of the Jewel of Summer Cal. This week we are going to look at how to create the zigzags and join these edge triangles rather, to the central diamonds. So you will need to have both of your central ones done and all your edge your triangles in order to complete this. We'll show you how to get started and then how to join them all the way through. You will need the colours of the big value 50 gram that you'll need for this section, and you'll need your 4.5mm crochet hook, and as usual I do keep scissors, sewing up needles and some split markers. The split ring markers or something, safety pins or whatever you need, will be really useful for pinning things together, just so that you keep your tension right and join the sections evenly. So that's going to be this week, so do have a little stack of things to join, either safety pins or your stitch markers. Okay, let's get cracking. Okay, so I've worked the double treble and then one double crochet all the way up to the centre chain space. In the centre chain space you work one double crochet, one chain and one double crochet, and then at this side you ended on a double crochet, and you're going to start the next way down with a double crochet and then start to work your combination of a double treble followed by a double crochet all the way down the side to the bottom. So I'll let you work that through and then we'll rejoin when we get to here, and then we're going to join the next one on. Okay. Right, so we've completed this up to the point where we've got 12 double trebles here and 12 double trebles down the side. We've finished on a double treble and you've got 2 stitches left at the end. We're now going to add in another triangle. So what we're going to do now is double crochet 4 together. So to do that, a double crochet, you go into your hole, you grab your yarn and you bring it back through, and then you go into the next hole, grab some more yarn and bring that back through. We're going to then take this one, find the top of the chain 3, go into it, grab some more yarn, pull it through, and then into the next stitch, which is that one, and we're going to pull that through. So we've now got 5 loops on the hook, and we pull that through all 5, and that pulls both pieces together very neatly in the corner. Then you begin again with the double trebles. So it's a double treble and then a double crochet, another double treble, and a double crochet, and again we're going to keep, as before, going all the way up this side until you get to the 1 chain space, and it will then match this, and then you work down the other side, ending here on a double treble with 2 spaces left. So that way we're then ready to join in the next triangle. Okay. Okay, so we've gone all the way along doing the combination of double crochet and double trebles here with 1 double crochet, 1 chain, 1 double crochet in the points at the top, and 4 double crochet together at the points in the middle. So you then finish on a double crochet 2 together. So, sorry, I'll just show you that again. You go into one stitch, grab the yarn, into another stitch, grab the yarn, and then go through all 3, and that finishes it off for that particular row. So with this, we're then going to work subsequent rows on it, so I will demo those in a minute. But basically with that one, take your time, get it nice and neat, relook at what I've done here if you need to. It might be a new stitch for you on that one, but I think it's really starting to look lovely. So we'll join you again in a few minutes with the next bit. All right, thanks. Okay, we've now completed the turquoise row, and we're going to start now with the grey. Don't worry that it feels to do this at the moment. It will, as we work, become straighter. So you have to turn over for the first time while doing this bit, and we're now working across the back. That is reasonably important. Well, it's very important because you finish with a set of these bobbles and you need them to be on the right side when you get to that point. So with this, we join into the first stitch, which was the double crochet 2 together was the last stitch. So you join into that stitch and then work a chain of 3. So as before, I've done 1 with the tail and then 2 with the working yarn. I'll bring it back to the centre. So we've got a chain of 3 at the end. We're working trebles for this row, so it's treble 2 together. So you're going into the top of the double treble and working part way through your treble, and then into the double crochet and working it to that point, and then through 2, and that's made a fairly straight bit of edging there. You're then going to continue working trebles, and you may find it easier to turn your work more so that you can see this row more easily. Trebles for every stitch, and you need to work 23 individual trebles up the side. And then when you get to the top, we'll be working into the 1 chain space at the top. Okay. Okay, so we've got now 23 individual double crochet trebles, down the side, not including the treble 3 together in the bottom corner, and we're at the centre. So we are now going to do 1 treble, 1 chain and 1 treble in the centre, and then we're going to work another set of 23 trebles down the side, and then at that point we have to, let's find it, these are a little bit tricky to see from behind. So there we go, that's the first of the trebles, and then in there. So again, you probably find it easiest to work looking down at this line rather than trying to work from the back, and that way you'll be sure to grab both loops. You don't want to grab just one or the other, you really want to be grabbing both loops on that one. Okay. Right, so we have worked up, across the top, down the side. We're now going to do treble 5 together. So start your normal treble as we've done before, wrapping through 2, then again into the next stitch, bring it through the 2, wrap and into the middle stitch, the centre one that joins both sides together, wrap into the next one, and then you finish by wrap and into the top of the double treble. And you will have 6 stitches on. Wrap and bring that through all 6. That's started then to pull together. So you've actually decreased some stitches here, but you've created a bit here, and this is how the ripple effect is going to work. So then you begin again and you're working another 23 individual trebles up the side of the work until you get to here, and then you'll do 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble, all into that single chain space at the top there, and then work another 23 down, another 25, treble 5 together, 23 up, 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble, and 23 down here, and then we'll do the finishing off one in a moment. So I'll let you catch up with that, and I'll rejoin you when we're working the end here, and I'll show you how to turn. Don't cut your yarn this time. I'll show you how to turn at the end. Okay, back in a mo. Okay, so we're now at the end of this row. So I'm now going to do a treble 3 together. So you do your part treble, and then another part treble, and then a third part treble. You have 4 loops on your hook, and you pull it through all 4. Now with this, when you go on to row 3, you literally just flip your work over. You are not changing yarn or anything. You just turn around and start with a chain of 3 and a treble 2 together. So that's the same idea as before. So you wrap, bring it through, wrap and through 2, wrap, take it into the next stitch, wrap and back through, wrap and through 2. So you've got 3 stitches on your hook and bring it through all 3. That starts your next row, and you're then going to work 22 trebles along this side, and when you reach the top, it's only fractionally different at the point at the top, but I will show you the point here and then the point here and how we get to the end of the row. And then the rows are repetitive then. The only thing you need to do is check where to change your colours after that, but I'll mention that again in a minute or two once we've got to the point we need it. Okay. So we have got now to the point where we're in the centre. So we're looking at the centre chain space here, and we're going to do this time 2 trebles followed by 1 chain followed by another 2 trebles, all in the same space. And that way, for the stitches we're losing at the bottom here, we're regaining them at the top, and then we're going to work our way down and do some treble 5 together here again, and that way it will give this quite sharp zigzag type effect. Okay, I'm going to work another 22 stitches and then come back to where we do the turn. Okay, we're back at where we're going to do the turn. So I'm going to work a treble 5 together. So wrap and in, wrap and back through, wrap and through 2. Repeat that again into the next stitch. Wrap in, wrap, back through, wrap and through 2. And we need 5 of these in total. So one more. So you've used 2 stitches from this side, 1 from the centre and 2 from the other side, and you've got 6 loops on your hook, and then you bring it through all 6. Then you just start to work your trebles again, and you need another 22 trebles along here, then 2 treble, 1 chain, 2 treble in your points, and keep working until you get almost to the end. And then we'll just do another little turn on that bit, and then it's all very repetitive after that. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Okay. Okay, so we're now at the end of the second row in the grey, and we're going to do a treble 3 together. So that's 1, 2, split the yarn there, and 3, and then bring it through all 4 loops. Then you're now working all the rows identical for rows 4, 5 and 6, and they're all in grey. So you literally just start with a chain of 3, a treble 2 together, and then you start working trebles up the side, and again you'll work 22 trebles just as you've done before. So it is an identical row for the next 3, then change yarn colours and then work another 2 identical rows. The only difference will be they'll be in the other colour. And then we'll come back to the final little bobble row that you need to work. So enjoy the next bit and we'll see you shortly. Okay, so we're back with row 9 of the first part of this zigzag central joining section. I've worked part of it already. One thing I really want to point out on this is when you've done the little top section and started again with the double treble, you then have a repeat of 1 double crochet, 1 double treble, 1 double crochet, 1 double treble. You do that 11 times, but because of the first one that you worked, you will actually have 12 double trebles by the time you get to where you're doing your little turning section here. So I've just got a tiny bit more to do on this, which I will show you now. So I'm going to do a double treble, like so. Then a double crochet and the final double treble here. Okay, so we're now where we're going to do the turning, and what we're going to do is double crochet 3 together. So you go in, grab your yarn, go into the next stitch, grab the yarn, and go into the next stitch, grab the yarn. So you've got 4 loops on your hook, and then yarn around your hook and through all 4, and that way you've got a treble, double crochet 3 together. We're now going to start with a double treble, so it immediately goes into the double trebles, and then you start again with double crochet followed by a double treble and another double crochet and a double treble. And again, you're working 11 sets, but because of the first of the double trebles, you'll have 12 double trebles by the time you get up to here, which is where we'll then do like a little fan to take you over the top. Okay. Okay, so we're back in to where there is the little fan needed at the top. So you've finished on a double treble, and so you're at the single chain space in the middle. You work 2 double crochet, 1 chain, and 2 more double crochet, all into that same hole there. Then we start again straight away with a double treble. And a double crochet and another double treble. And make sure you bring the double trebles to the front. It's very easy for them to pop out of the wrong side of the work, and then you lose that little bit of emphasis. So we're going to keep working double crochet and a double treble all the way down to the last 2 stitches, and then you do double crochet 2 together at the end, and you'll have then a full one worked. So I'll just get to the end and show you that section. Okay, so we're back here nearly at the end, and I just want to show you what I mean by you will need to just tease these through to the front, because you can see at the moment how they've ended up at the back of the work. And the easiest way is just to get your crochet hook and pop it under the double trebles and then just pull them forward, and you can see how they come to be pronounced at the other side. So I suppose really it doesn't matter too much which side you work these, just force them through to where you want them to show. So that's to there, and then I've finished on the final double treble. I've just checked that I have got 12 there, and then you work double crochet 2 together, so that's in through 1, in and grab for your second, wrap and through all 3 loops, and that's where you'll finish off for this. So that is your completed one. Not as easy to see on the white, unfortunately, but you get the idea. So that's what you've got, a little row of these bobbles just finishing off, and then we're going to sew the diamonds and the triangles in a moment. Okay. Okay, so we've now got this with the lovely zigzag going through it. To do the next stage, you need 2 of the triangles and 2 of the diamonds. So the first thing I would recommend you do is just get some either safety pins or some kind of stitch marker. So these are split ring markers. Pop them through where the 1 chain space is. So you can see how I've got them laid out. This could potentially stop some disasters later when you're sewing things together in a few minutes. So find the centres, so you've got all 4 fastened together. Right, then you're going to pin them just loosely to here, and this is so that it attaches nicely and you don't get really, where you end up with a big lump of yarn of knitting left at one side and not the other, so you don't want to sort of end up with it sewing up like that. To stop that, if you pin it at various points, if you haven't got safety pins or stitch markers, you can use bits of thread just around here. Actually, I'm going to pin, because we don't want to sew through those, so I'm just going to attempt to pin this at either side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we know we've got 12, so that takes me halfway down, and this point here is about halfway down on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pin it, and again here, and we're just going to repeat this process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way along. It may seem a bit faffy at the moment, but trust me, it'll save you time later. Six. Centre. And final section here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. I'm not actually going to pin one at that end, but I am going to pin the far end as well. So you've got pins at various points, which helps the next stage. So on this one, I left quite a long piece of thread on there. Don't worry if you've cut yours off, just sew it in, get yourself a fresh piece of the white thread, and then turn them over so that you're working on the reverse side. And this is the whip stitch, and you're using the front loop only, which although you've got the backs here, you need to pull it forward, find that front loop, and then start sewing. Okay. Each one, do this fairly carefully, and you'll get a much neater finish. If you try and rush this bit, you can end up with it being a bit messy, and it'll either be too tight or too slack. You really want this to be done nice and even. So this is called a whip stitch because you're whipping over. Be careful when you're going into the side where the gold coloured yarn is. You don't want to pick up two like this. It will show on your sewing on the other side, and if you're anything like me, it'll annoy you every time you look at it. So just be really careful when you picking up on the gold side that you're only getting that front loop. And you should find that you're about even with your numbers of stitches as you get to each marker. It's pretty much stitch for stitch on this section, which makes sewing up so much easier. Okay. So what you should be ending up with, it's always worth turning it over every so often and having a look, is this nice neat area here where you've sewn along. When you get up to the points here, try and match the last stitch just before the hole, before the one chain space there, to the top, and then do the same again. You can work in the same stitch if it works for you. So you could join that one to there and this one to here. They just need to be pretty close. It doesn't matter if there's like a one stitch gap, you'll go over that later. But keep going till you have worked all the way along, joining, finish off. You will probably need more yarn than this, so I'd get part way across, sew that in, and then carry on across for that, and then we'll pick up again doing the zigzag for the top section. Okay. Okay, so we're back with part 3, which is crocheting the top zigzag border, and we're going to be working down, up, all the way along, and doing very similar to this white section here. So for this you need to join in the top of the chain 3, get the cream yarn, bring that through once, and for this one we do 1 chain just to secure it, and pop that round to the back, work another 2 double crochet in the same space, and then we're going to start creating this bobbly border again. So for that we're going to work 1 double crochet right into the first stitch, and then a double treble, and as we've done before we're going to keep alternating with a double crochet and a double treble, and we're going to do this all the way down the line. Until we get to this point, and then I will show you how to pull that piece in more tightly and make it neater. Okay. Right, so we're back, we've got to here, finishing with a double treble, and then we need to pull this bit in more to make it neater. So the way you do that is to do a double crochet, so double crochet 4 together. So you start by going into the first hole, bringing that yarn through, then you go into the 1 chain space and bring that through. We then ignore the white section, go into the 1 chain space, and then into the next stitch. So we've actually got 5 loops on the hook, and then we pull all the way through all 5 loops, and that pulls it in nice and neatly in the middle. Hopefully you can see that. Then for the next bit we start with the double treble followed by a double crochet. So set my hand up, and the first one we're going to do is the double treble into the next stitch, and then a double crochet, a double treble, and double crochet, and this is going to create the same effect as below. So again, what we're going to do is work all the way up this side to this middle section, and then in that you do 1 double crochet, 1 chain, 1 double crochet, all into that little space there, and then we start to work down the other side, and again keep working across. So we'll come back and show you the next bit in a moment. So we're now right up to the top, and I've gone right into the very final stitch here, and then at this point you work a double crochet, 1 chain and a double crochet, and then you start in again right in that very first top stitch. That's a double crochet, again followed by a double treble, and as before you're alternating double crochet with a double treble all the way down, and you're going to go down to this point, work the double crochet 4 together here, then up the side, double crochet, 1 chain, another double crochet into the hole, keep going until you get to the end. On this one you finish with 2 double crochet in the very last hole, and that means you've got enough stitches to start again with the grey section that you're going to do on this. And actually we do red next, don't we? Then we do grey, but yeah, you're going to finish with that and it'll look lovely. So we'll come back to that shortly. Okay, we're back with row 2 now, so you must finish with 2 double crochet at the end here, and we've turned the work over, so you're now working across the back. We join the yarn in the usual way and then do a chain of 3. That's 1, 2, 3, then you work a treble into the same hole, and then you start working trebles all the way down, and you need to work 23 individual trebles before you get to the centre point, because when we get down here we're going to work a treble 5 together. So you need a couple of stitches at one side, the centre stitch, and then a couple of stitches here to bring it in and draw it all together. So I'm just going to work down this side and get my 23 stitches, and then we will rejoin you when we get to the middle. Right, so we're coming back into the point where we've got 2 trebles at the top, we've got 23 trebles down to here, and then I'm going to do treble 5 together. So to work that, you wrap the yarn into the first hole, bring it back through, wrap and through 2, start that again, so wrap into the next hole, bring it back through, wrap through 2, so that each time we end up with 1 extra loop left on the hook. Wrap for a 3rd time, do the same thing again, wrap for a 4th time, and then wrap for the final 5th time. And what you should have now are 6 loops on your hook. Wrap and through all 6, and then you start again with your individual trebles, working them all the way down this side again, another 23, until you get to the centre point, at which point you do 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble, all into your centre hole there, and then keep going again, another 23 trebles, then treble 5 together, and the 23, keep repeating that sequence until you get to the end of the row, and then we'll join you for the next section. Just show you how to start your row 3, and then once you've got that, you're away for just doing the rest of that section of the blanket. Okay. Okay, so we have worked the whole of the first row done in the red this time, finished here. Don't fasten off, because we're now going to work 1 more row. As we did 2 rows of pink here, we're doing 2 rows in the red. So let's start with that. So this is row 3. I've turned my work over, so I've now got the right side facing, and I'm going to do a chain of 3 and then 2 trebles into that first stitch. And these are to do with, we don't actually want to lose stitches, but where you do the treble 5 together, these help replace the stitches that you're losing in that little middle point. So we're then going to work 22 trebles, 1 into every stitch of the row below, and we're going to do that all the way down to about here, and then we do a treble 5 together, then you go all the way up the other side with another 22 stitches, and this time in this section here you're going to do 2 trebles, 1 chain, 2 trebles, and that's the turning point, and again helps to replace the stitches that you're losing at the bottom. You're going to keep going all the way to the end, fasten off, and then you repeat row 3 for all the next section that's in grey. And then at that point you would change and work another row similar to this. So by doing that you're creating like a mirror image at the other side. I won't go through every stage because of course you can just re-watch this section. But what we'll do is then fasten the other triangles on, so the triangles will be in at the other end, and then we'll come back and show you the main first internal border that goes around these. Just another point, once you've finished creating this, you may want to block it, and that is where you pin it out, you dampen it, you pin it out onto a towel and you leave it to dry naturally, and it just helps to sort of smooth it out but without actually squashing the fabric. So that's going to be the final bit of that one. Good luck!